Hello, everyone, and welcome to Answer the Call. This week's episode is going to be a little bit more broad. I know we usually touch on one topic, but the amount of stuff that happened in the last day and a half or two, I guess, is pretty wild. Starting out with the Star Citizen Halloween celebration stuff that I think really kind of changed 3.11 for me from the idea of 3.11 is the most boring patch I've ever played. I am not interested in the game whatsoever anymore, to the amount of time I want to invest in the game and play to try and earn this Vandal helmet, I think was really awesome. So for me, that is like literally the highlight of 3.11. To the AMA with Tony, Todd, and Chris, to Chris's letter from the chairman, to the community video, to the Squadron 42 updates. There's been a lot of things that happen. So this week's show is going to be a little bit different, where I asked the people calling in to touch on one or two of those subjects and what they thought about them. And then we'll have a little back and forth and then move on to the next caller. Whereas normally we would be doing one topic, everybody kind of touches on the same thing, and towards the end they're like, yeah, that guy sort of said the same thing as me, right? So hopefully this will be a little bit better on that front. But yeah, so for me, I think a lot of what I heard on everything, I'll kind of give my quick summary, is helmet, Squadron, or the Halloween helmet ideas is absolutely amazing. They provided value of doing a thing in the game. So killing another player, killing another player in the game actually has a value attributed to it. I think players are actively circumventing this, and there's discords created with it of just earning this helmet, and I think it's absolute shame. It's shameless, and it's a joke. CIG finally provided you with some gameplay, and you're actively circumventing it to avoid playing the game for more than one day to actually earn this thing. Absolutely ridiculous. The AMA stuff was a lot of future things that are coming that I doubt we're going to see this year. So that was kind of a little meh to me. The letter from the chairman, I think there was some issues there with that. I think Chris lacks empathy for the game that we play versus the game that he sees his developers build. I think that's a big problem with that one for me. That was the biggest thing that sticks out for me, is he thinks that there's exploration in the game and mining and bounty hunting and all these things, when the people who actually play the game play it and go, yeah, that stuff's not really there. Then the Squadron 42 video update, it just comes down to this for me, is the update to Squadron 42 that the community needs is to need to know where the progress of the game is at, not necessarily what Asiedo looks like or what interruption tech is. That's how I feel about that. We did get from Brian Chambers saying that it's not going to be in beta this year. So that is basically my feelings on everything real quick. There are a ton of callers today, so we're going to jump in and get to the callers. First caller is quite a popular caller. He is a Star Citizen YouTuber and streamer, as well as other games. But for the most part, I think we know him in the Star Citizen community as a Star Citizen YouTuber and creator. But I think he started with games like Space Engineers. But Morph is one of us. He is one of our own now. We've adopted him, and we love him. Morph, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Doing all right, Mike. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I'm at 15 kills. How many do you have? I didn't play today, though.
I'm actually only at 8 kills, and I haven't been doing that cheating crap I've been seeing the community do. It just blows my mind that
shameless.
I know. It's shameless. I mean, all right, fine. If you guys want to do it, you do you, boo. But for me, I see it as an opportunity to get out there and do some PvP, because that's what it's driving right now. There's so much PvP happening at Grim Hex, especially, and even Port Olisar. So you guys are missing out, man.
For real. So what did you want to talk about? I know we talked yesterday a little bit about this. My community is a bunch of debating jerks. So we watched your video, but your video about how this event finally brings value to Star Citizen. They told me that you already had the helmet.
No, I didn't. I asked I asked Xylo to come. Let me take some pictures of him. That was it. That's all I did.
Okay, gotcha.
That's how I got custom images of it.
Yes, because I was like, how did
I
you
just
get
wanted
this
to get some
custom
good footage.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no. That was Xylo.
Yeah, so they're all like, oh, Morph cheesed it. And I was like, no, man, please, no. Morph, I actually like you. Don't make me dislike you.
No, I didn't cheese it. And I actually, yesterday, on my stream, I was like, I know it'd be really easy to get us all together and just do a roundabout cheese fest where we just kill each other. But I said, you guys have to earn it. Come PvP me. So we did a bunch of PvP. We went hunting for a bunch of bounties. There were like 10 bounties on the server last night. It's never been that hopping.
Exactly.
It was amazing. Yeah. Great fights all night long. Everybody was smiles. There wasn't like I know a lot of people were afraid of ganking and stuff for like traders, but honestly, guys, I'm only seeing the PvP really happen around Grimhex and Port Olisar. I'm really not hearing that people are getting ganked in other places. Maybe occasionally here or there.
I may have followed some of your more hot mining routes and went after somebody who might have been mining in Iraq. I might have. Did you?
Oh man, that's pretty.
Listen, there was nobody around Grimhex. There was nobody around Port Olisar. So then you go to the next thing. Where are the hot spots?
All right.
You know. Yeah.
Killing
listen,
miners, man. For shame, you freaking griefer, you.
I have now achieved the forum tag of griefer. So you know how you all have all those little forum tags for things that you do in the game or on the website or whatever. I now have the forum. I have the griefer tag because I got called a griefer in the game yesterday. It was awesome.
Oh no, I'm not surprised. But here's the thing. I know I know we're just kind of free flowing right now. Is that all right? Sure. I mean, this is your show. You lead the way.
It's free flow. You lead the way. What choose your couple topics on what you want to talk about, and let's just chill and talk about them.
All right, I'm gonna play devil's advocate right here. You know how I feel about this. I did a video on it already, but devil's advocate. Yeah. This is just promoting griefers in the game. I don't want to log on for the rest of this month because I like mining, I like trading, and all I'm gonna do is get ganked by people who are just killing me left and right. What's your response to that? My
response is to the one person I found is use your brain. Don't mine on the dark side of the moon, because the reason that we found you was we were the okay. For those of you guys that are having issues with repairing your ship, the place that we've been going to repair the ships are the mining and the mining outposts on moons. They seem to be working. So I ran out of ammo, so I needed to go repair to get more ammo. As we're QTing, we see a light on the dark side of the moon. I need to get more kills. That's an easy one. Why wouldn't I just take that kill? Use your brain. That's all. Nobody's ganking you. You were just not. You were like, and also just pinging nonstop. Like, we actually thought it was a troll because the pings were happening so often that we thought they were trying to get us to come to them to gank us. We thought it was the opposite way around. It was just me and one other guy. And then it turns out it was just a freelancer of a guy who didn't really know what was going on. But he literally was asking for it, you know? But if you're on the light side of the moon on aerial, nobody's ever going to find you.
Yeah, it's literally just incredibly massive. Yeah, with these view distances that they added in a few patches ago, you can see people from orbit. I was telling people that the other day when we were flying around and doing some base missions, turn your lights off when you land. People can see that.
Yeah.
And they'll fly down and try to kill you. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's common sense. So here's my fear about this. I'm done playing devil's advocate. You know how I feel. I really like this idea. I like that they're rewarding PvP in the game right now, and there's a lot of PvPers in Star Citizen. I really fear that there's a large segment of the community that has been playing Star Citizen in its current form for so long that that's how they feel Star Citizen is. It's like a PvE experience with the occasional human contact.
Yeah.
But and what I fear is that they've completely misunderstood the direction that the game is going. When we get server meshing, the chance of you running into people is just going to keep going up and up and up. So if you hate human interaction, Star Citizen, I'm sorry, maybe I'm just venting here, but it ain't the game for you, buddy.
Probably not. Yeah, and that's the whole idea is that I think people misunderstand what this game actually is. Now, I'll play. I guess I'll respond to you with this. Is I don't think that now was the right time to do things like lower the armistice zones, or maybe even do an event like this specifically, where it was geared towards PvP, because there is no Terra for a player like the player who just wants to have that experience, right? The system that we're in is more open and available for PvP, where other systems, when they figure out how this armistice zone dropping works, and whenever you attack somebody around Port Olisar, like here's the deal: if you go to Terra and you even think about taking your gun out, a turret should kill you instantly, right? Because it's Terra. These some places should be super high sec, is how I think of it. And I don't know, we don't have those systems in place now where a player who wants to have a safe place, I don't think any PvPer or any pirate disagrees with the fact that players should have those places in the game. Not everybody should be funneled into your kill zone and your cross sights to kill them in this game. No way. But the idea of having highly valuable areas that players who do want to take the risk versus the reward can go to, and that's where pirates will hang out and take advantage of those players. But I think because the game is so incomplete that I can see why players are upset, but at the same time, I think players also don't understand the fact that PvPers have been playing this game for so long with literally nothing, and they were finally given something. Like, CIG finally threw them a bone, you know? Finally threw them a bone.
Look, I understand where you're coming from, and I know you're playing devil's advocate, but here's the thing.
I believe what I said. I'm not playing devil's advocate there.
Okay. Well, at some point or another, no, what I'm saying here with like, is it too soon or whatever for this? Sooner or later, you got to tear the Band-Aid off. And
Agreed.
A core mechanic of the game is the law system using deterrence and disincentives, or incentives rather, right? So at some point they need to start testing that. Now, I believe that this mission is very much the same thing as what they did with the Penguins. This is a way of testing station defenses and the law system. It's not really about the Van Duel helmet, though it is a really cool thing to have in the game. This is to get people to really see if it's actually going to function at the current state of the game. And if it doesn't, I suspect that they're going to pull it off in the 3.11x patch or do something to it. There are some problems with it. It's definitely too early, but there's never going to be a time where it's perfect unless you just do it, because it's going to go from having a safe zone to not having a safe zone, and there's really no in between.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Like, at some point you have to put gameplay in the game, right? And they finally did. Like, there was you got exactly what you said. You got to pull the Band-Aid off, even though it's not ready. I'm just saying I understand why people are upset, because they don't have that safe space to play right now. So this isn't entirely like everybody smells blood the second you see someone. You know what I mean?
Right. And
that's the difference.
And I think that
and
here's what
that's
it's going
not
to do.
Good.
No, I understand. I understand from that perspective, people are feeling upset. But it starts to create these scenarios that wouldn't have happened organically in the current state of the game that they need to know about, maybe earlier than when you have more than one system with more people in the game, because that's when those issues are going to show up and be even bigger, because you didn't start small and work your way up.
Yeah.
So I think this is a way for them to figure out, okay, are the safe zones around stations good enough? Are the turrets going to be good enough? Is just a response as opposed to a preemption going to be sufficient? Do we need to do more with the law system in terms of your crime stat? Should it be also associated with maybe your reputation, because maybe there's somebody who's well known in the verse for just killing people on pads? Maybe it won't be good enough to just be a response to them, because they're always going to do that. These are the questions that we're going to have to start asking, and I'm excited about that, because that's going to be a problem going into the future.
Yeah.
And I like to see that solved, because it's going to create some really interesting gameplay, in my opinion.
Every time there's progress in anything, somebody suffers for that progress. And in this case,
absolutely,
some people are suffering for this progress. and it's unfortunate, but at the same time, I'm a miner, I'm a cargo hauler. I like doing those things, but I also made the switch and said, okay, what better time to learn about how to PvP in this game than now? So I pull Virgil into Discord. He explains to me how all this stuff works. Use this weapon for this situation because of this, that, and the other thing. Do this with your shields. Oh, try doing that. And I started getting more and more confident, and I was killing players on my own pretty quickly. And it's a good thing. Like, what better time to learn these things than now? If you only want to do that, well, then guess what? People have been telling me to take a break from Star Citizen forever. Maybe now it's your turn. I don't know what to say.
And here's the thing, I know a lot of people are upset about like mining is suffering, but mining has gotten the most love out of anything in Star Citizen at this point.
For years.
It's time to look at some other stuff too, because that's going to influence the game as a whole. There's going to be PvPers. I'm sorry, if you guys don't think Goon Swarm type people are going to make their way into Star Citizen, you better start looking for a different game, because you're not going to be happy with the way things turn out when there's more people in this, with roaming droves of pirates just ganking people for no reason. It's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I thinking, to wrap this up, if we want to move on to a different subject, I'm really happy with the direction they're going with this.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what they learn from it. I think already I can see issues with the turrets as defenses. I think that they need to have, and I said this before it came out, I think that they have to have it where you have to power your weapons down before you enter the safe zone. I think that's the only real way to stop people from just getting ganked by missiles and stuff. And probably extend out the range of the turrets even a bit too, because I have heard that people were actually sending missiles outside the safe zone into the safe zone and killing people. In fact, I saw somebody do it at Port Alisar at a ship just parked yesterday. So there is an issue with it right now. By the way, the turrets weren't spawning in half the places too. I have reported that, but nobody seems to have voted that up. I'm very concerned with that issue.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. The only other thing I would say is I think that there's a lot they can learn from this, and they can build on this and grow from it, right? Like right away, the space cutlets, just space cutlets in chat, Virgil, a bunch of guys that are really good at this could already have completed this task within a day. So the only other thing I would say is just like obviously make a tier level of these. Like, so if you end up with like 150 kills, you get like a Vandu helmet with like big Google light up eyes or something special, right? Would be the only other thing I would add. Is that kind of stuff. But yeah, I love the initial idea, and I think it's fantastic. And I've never felt more need. I need to play this game now. I've never felt that. Ever.
Oh, yeah, no.
I need to play.
I've been looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to it every single day. I was like, I want to go back and do some PvP. Because here's the other thing. Space combat for me. I know people have been like really negative with the flight model. I personally have really liked it. I've tried other games, a bunch of other games like Elite Dangerous, Squadrons, whatever. I've tried a lot of them, and Star Citizen to me still feels the best. I'm not sure if I'm being really fair or something. Maybe I'm biased here, but I just feel like the Newtonian physics, the multi-vector, like way you can thrust sideways and what have you, you can't do it in other games the way you can do it in Star Citizen, and I really like that. So yeah, no, I'm really excited to get in and use the new missile system, which I actually really, really like. That's another thing. How do you feel about missiles, Mike? How are you feeling about the changes?
Well, it's nice that I was able to press a button and turn them off. I loved when I clicked and they were close to me, that I was like, oh, they're too close. So I can't use them, because if I did use them, there's no way they would have time to react. Like, it was all really well thought out, I think, and missiles seem to be used when players are running. Than as a tool in a dogfight as much. It feels more like we're dogfighting now. But I don't know. I think there's still a lot that needs to happen. I just don't. The hard part is my only PvP experience really started yesterday, so I don't have a lot of insight on that stuff. But I tell you, it felt it felt a lot better than what it was feeling in the past of like, all right, here comes this missile. I might as well just watch it hit me and hope I don't die, you know?
Yeah, now the countermeasures actually work. I was throwing missiles at people a lot yesterday in PvP. I don't think I hit a single person. Even doing sequential one after the other. Yeah, and maybe the countermeasures are too good. I'm not sure right now. I may have gotten tagged by size 1 at one point, but it didn't do enough damage to really make a difference for me. But yeah, it seems very. It also it is quite skill based. Yeah, if maybe they tone that down. My feeling right now is I really like where they are. Maybe countermeasures are too effective. I like the fact that if you fly at a missile now and dodge it, it won't 180 and hit you anymore.
Yeah,
I was doing that last night a lot.
Yeah,
just dodging them straight up with maneuvering as opposed to using countermeasures, which I found a lot more fun and engaging.
Yeah, I mean, I think it still feels like a DPS race, the game, but at the same time, the fact that I had the knowledge that Virgil gave me, I happened to win the fights more often because of the type of weapons I was using versus what they were using, and what I was doing with my shields versus what they were doing. So I was able to win fights where I was actually at the disadvantage in terms of skill because I knew more about the game than they did, I guess, at that time.
Fair enough.
So that's interesting, and I don't think that that's necessarily a good thing. I think skill should win out more often, and I think they're just going to have to figure out ways to provide more of those elements. But as we're seeing with this vehicle experience team, is that slowly but surely they're building out something that's actually quite fun to use, getting better to play. More skill is being inserted into it when there was really none. It felt like none before, and yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, do we have time to talk about another subject?
Sure.
So I'm wondering how you feel about the announcement about when iCache is coming out.
That was disappointing, because they just did an ISC basically implying that it's not done, but that they were comfortable enough to talk about it. Therefore, it was probably moving along nicely, right? And that's also something that they don't have like very great empathy with, understanding that, hey, if we talk a lot about this thing, the expectation from the community is it's moving along well. There aren't too many snags or hiccups with it. So it's the fact that it's like a year away is like, wait, what? I'm confused.
I'm really confused too, because we were getting some signals in the forums. There were not set down dates that they were really confident in the progress that they were making, and that they felt like that they could get it out pretty soon. But my biggest fear with this is that we are not going to get a significant content patch for at least a year at this point. So while this is fun right now with the Vandal helmet, and it's gonna make it fun for the rest of this month for PvP, I really worry about what's gonna happen afterward. Now, it's possible that they could flesh out, and it did look like Chris Roberts was hinting at this, flesh out some of the gameplay loops of the existing professions. And that kind of makes sense because it doesn't require additional space on the servers, which is what the ultimate limitation is right now for new content. Is like there's no more space with the as much as they've been able to do with OCS, and it's hit the max, and you can see it every time big PvP battles happen or when servers get old. The server just chugs and does not work. So yeah, I don't know, man. I would like to see, or at least hear something personally about some upcoming patches and what they're thinking about for content to kind of cheer me up a bit. Because right now I'm feeling really down. For the next 12 months, I'm going to have really not too much to talk about.
Yeah, and like it obviously sucks for content creators, but nobody cares about us in the grand scheme of things. Yeah. The whole thing is that if we have nothing to talk about, then there's almost definitely nothing to dive into. And like I made a video saying, that it was titled 3.11 is boring, because it is, because nothing changed, right? So the idea of that in the last 2-3 years, every single patch they dropped, every single one had something really exciting to sink your teeth into. And they fixed 3.11 by inserting this challenge in. So now I can sink my teeth into that as a player. And if a player is having fun, then most likely as a content creator, you have something to talk about, show, and have fun with. But that's the thing, is that everything now is so bottlenecked by this tech that is not moving along as quickly, that they've hit this wall. And what are they going to do to resolve that problem is really problematic for them. It's going to be tough for us as content creators. What's going to happen? How are we going to break through that wall and play this game that's not finished as if it isn't? That as if it is finished, So it's a lot of there's a lot of questions that are unanswered, right? When it comes to this stuff.
Certainly there are, and yeah, it's just a bummer as a player as well, because I was looking forward to just a little bit more I'm always looking forward to more content, but I'm with you on this one. That 3.11 very much seems like a polish of 3.10. There's some good stuff in there, but it's just mostly polish.
Yeah. And that's good. And I even said, like, you can see it's because it's not just polish, right? There's that inventory on the rock and in your backpack. Like, if that isn't something that excites you, I don't know what does, because that has all these little spider webs that lead from that into all of these elements of immersive gameplay, as well as just theme park gameplay and all these other things that Star Citizen can do with that. But when
they've already the thing is, Mike, they said straight up that local inventory is not possible without iCache. So even though the inventory interface is there and it gives you ideas of what it can be, ultimately it's held up by iCache as well. So sorry, I'm just throwing my hands in the air. I don't know what that, I'm oh God.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
I can't be angry with them. I know it's really hard to do this. It's a very big challenge, and it's just like there's no one to be angry with but time. Like go faster. If you're gonna be angry about anything, and this is the only thing that I ever get angry about, is their communication. And the problem with their communication is typically that they don't see the game from our eyes. And that was very apparent in Chris's post, that he's not that empathetic of a person, and he cannot see the fact that the lack of gameplay loops, when we say that, is that it's actually true. Instead, he says, you can't see because of the bugs that there's actually a lot more there. We know that there's nothing there, Chris. Stop. Just stop. We know there's nothing there. We know there's a lot of things holding up what's actually there. We're willing to be patient, but the problem with it is that you keep building up this excitement by talking about the things that are going to push the game further. Well,
so frustrating.
I think, I kind of understand Chris Roberts' perspective, and here's why. He is leading this company. He's got all the pieces in his head. He's always in the meetings. He understands what tech's there. I think from his perspective, it's his job to every day think about these systems in their current states.
Absolutely.
I think what he sees is that he sees all of these different pieces, and he feels like it's very, very close, and that we can't see it. But that makes it hard for him to see it from our perspective, which it is hard for us to see it because we're not Chris. We don't see all the pieces, right? That's why communication is so important, because it's hard for us to understand that, like this system is actually in, but there's this one other thing holding it up. That, I don't know if it really helps most people, but at least it helps me understand why things are the way they are. I just like knowing why. It comforts me to know why.
Me too. And I absolutely can see Chris's perspective on it. But the problem is Chris, if he's going to be communicating these things and communicating directly with backers, he needs to step out of that and be able to see the game from our eyes and see the understanding of that it's just not okay to do the things that you do sometimes. Like we talked about, how they've constantly been talking about iCache in a way that implies that there's nothing holding it up, that it's going to continue progressing. Because, I mean, the last Pillar Talks, he's talked so much about it, right? So much about iCache and Pillar Talks and homesteads and all these things, but not implying that it's not until Q2 2021. until just now. And even then, I think we all know that it's probably Q4 2021 if he's implying right now that it's Q2 2021. How do we know? How do we know, but they don't? That's the part that I'll never understand, is I know full well now that at the end of next year is when we're getting iCash, because he just told me that we're getting it in the second quarter. So stop telling me we're getting it in the second quarter. I don't know. It's frustrating.
He did say it wasn't a promise, though.
Yeah, of course. Then why say it at all? Because it starts to build that level of excitement, and that's the empathy that I'm talking about that he lacks, is that he doesn't recognize the fact that even though he says it's not a promise, that it starts to build the excitement that that's what they're aiming for. Let's hope they hit it. Let's hope they hit it. I really hope they hit it, because if they hit it, it's going to be really awesome, and I'm really going to be able to play this game, and it's going to be great, right? Because that's how I feel about it, is like, if he says then, well, that's their goal, I hope they get there. All right, they haven't said it's not yet. Maybe it's going to happen, and then bang, right at the end, they rip it out, and then we're disappointed again. And it's the same thing with literally everything. And that's the idea. And then he sort of, it blames us for that problem, when in reality it starts with that expectation that's created by them. Maybe I'm projecting, I don't know, because I do feel that that's where a lot of my disappointment comes from.
Yeah, I feel you. There, at the same time, we do need to hear some things about the stuff that's coming to get us engaged and excited. But yeah, I know we've been burned a lot by not exact. Some of them were promises, but some of them weren't promises. But they were like, yeah, we're trying to get this thing done this year, and then we get our hopes up, and then it doesn't happen. And it's been happening over and over again. Like we were really hoping that Pyro was going to be in this year, that iCash might be in this year.
Server meshing.
Neither of those things. Server meshing was going to be in this year. None of those things are happening this year. I mean, they probably will end they'll probably happen at the end of next year.
Yeah.
And now I'm wondering, am I ridiculous in getting my hopes up to think that they're going to get Squadron 42 in for Citizencon next year? Now I'm thinking, I'm not so sure.
I don't even think about that game. I give up, especially after these updates. I'm over it. But yeah, I guess we got to get to a couple more callers. So is there anything else you want to add before we let you go, Morph?
No, I've taken up enough of your time, man. This has been a great conversation. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, let's get you on as like a featured guest sometime soon to talk about something. Whenever you have something really passionate to talk about that you'd like, let me know, and we'll come on and we'll talk about it for a good hour and a half, instead of having a shorter call than like we did today.
Oh yeah, no, there's definitely a couple subjects we can think of for sure. Let's connect again after the show at some point, and we'll figure out what we can do.
Absolutely. All right, Morph. Talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, talk to you later, Mike.
Good luck on the mask. All right, and then bringing in our next caller, the Q in Discord, but a lot of people on Twitch. Carbon Tales, Q. How's it going? You're muted right now. Do you hear me? AFK maybe again?
No, I had it muted because I didn't want to blast in. I'm sorry about that, brother.
Oh, you're all good, buddy. You're all good. Let me get your name changed here. So, couple subjects that you could choose. What do you want to talk about, and what do you feel about them?
I think the first one I just wanted to hit you up about was the video you just posted. Just the other day about Citizencon. The value of Citizencon,
yeah. I really devalued Citizencon over the years of like following the game.
I'm glad you did. I've been saying that at the beginning of the year when they canceled Citizencon. I posted a response on there, but I wasn't sure anyone reads those things. But Citizencon is extremely important for this company.
Yeah.
For a lot of companies, actually. The type of thing, like my company, we do what we call an annual sales conference.
Okay.
And in that annual sales conference, we do effectively a Citizencon type of situation in which the developers, the product management team, things like the engineers, they put together some of the stuff that we're coming up with for industry and for the salespeople and the sales engineers, etc., to get excited about, so they can go out and then promote that and promote our company, things like that. And for a solid quarter every year, say our sales conference is usually in about August, because the end of our year, our fiscal is July 31st. So it's right around August, to pump the year up. So that last portion of the year, when not only are we trying to book numbers we're a publicly traded company, we're booking numbers for the end of the year, trying to close that out. The engineers that last quarter are just busting hump. I mean, they're excited to bust hump. It's not just them being pushed to do it. They are excited to do it because they have a goal. They have that goal to present to the sales team. They have a benefit for it as well. They get free room and board, free entertainment, free alcohol. Their family gets to come and at the resort with us. And we provide all that for them.
Yeah.
So they are super excited, and that incentivizes them to put in that extra 5, maybe 10 hours a week in order to get it done. And that's kind of the definition of leadership, right? The definition of leadership is specifically convincing someone to do something willingly that they would not otherwise do.
Yes.
Right. That is the definition of leadership. And things like this incentivize and add to the morale and esprit de corps of a company. So that's just one aspect of Citizencon. That's the development side, in my opinion. The development side, how much that actually brings up the morale in the company to really put in those few extra hours, because they add up. They really do. If each person's putting in another 2 to 5 a week, that adds up over the course of a quarter.
Sure.
And then from the community side, I do not think that this particular community would be as strong as it is without Citizencon. I don't think forums and Twitch and YouTube alone would get people as invested as they are in the type of money that people are spending on a game that's upcoming, a dream, right?
Agreed.
So it is vitally important for them to keep that community together. I mean, look at that video you showed earlier with Wickstrom. Those are genuine responses. Those weren't canned responses. Those were genuine responses from people. You saw videos from Citizencon. It is vitally important to the community. So I thought this year, though I say mistake, the reality is those events take a lot as well to do. Obviously, we just talked about the engineers and what they're doing, but the people putting them together, it takes a lot. And quite frankly, I'm sure that when they came down to the meeting and they said, okay, well, what's our options here with COVID? One option is let's do a virtual Citizencon. And then someone brought up and more than likely said, yeah, well, if we do a virtual Citizencon, what we normally do every year is this much effort, but to now create all this stuff for a virtual Citizencon, it's going to be another 10, 15, 20% effort. And everyone was already like, fuck it, we don't really have the effort already for a regular Citizencon. That's already a big push every year. And I'm pretty sure in the back of many of the people's mind, they were like, yeah, okay, we can skip it this year. Jeez, because it's tough holding on those events. I know we do them. It's very time consuming, and it takes time out of other people's day. So it's a dual-edged sword. I get that, but I do think if they end up missing it next year because of, it was okay to miss it last year, I think that'll be a huge mistake.
Yeah, and my argument on everything was the value of Citizencon was so important, but if there's a situation where you're not able to do it, where are you going to create value elsewhere? How are you going to drive the development of the game? And the thing that my wife actually said, that I actually recorded that video once and then came back to it after discussing it with her. She goes, there just doesn't seem to be a clear vision of what needs to be done each year. So, for example, we have this many quarters, and the end goal at the end of the year, or maybe the end goal should be at Citizencon, is this. And everything we do leads to this. And this, the thing at Citizencon, leads to what will eventually be more of Star Citizen the game. That's how I would expect game development to work. But again, like everyone loves to tell me in my YouTube mentions, I don't understand game development, so I should probably stay in my lane and stuff like that. I love those comments.
I mean, I wouldn't say that at all, Mike. What I would say is I think that's also multifaceted a little bit in the fact that, number one, for them to say, first of all, people have this opinion that the roadmap is some sort of promise. That's not what a roadmap is. It's their goal. This is what they're trying to achieve. Now, in engineering in a software development standpoint, they run into bugs. And that's why I was really hoping you would watch that 16-minute video in full. You missed the part that I thought you would really.
I watched it off
into.
stream. I watched it off stream.
Okay, so when Chris was explaining, he did a very good job at explaining, what happens, that they get bugs, and then there's a bug that this person worked on a previous feature that now they have to be pulled off. That's what happens all the time.
Yeah.
And some of those bugs can be fixed in a day, and some take several weeks. And that time gets slipped and slipped and slipped. So roadmap is not, this is what we're promising to do.
Absolutely.
This is our goal. This is what we're trying to achieve. But if bugs prevent that, bugs prevent that.
But the whole thing is I never argue against delaying anything. I never argue against the idea of Star Citizen not having a publisher and not being rushed out. I never argue for that. Maybe a lot of members of our community do. I never do. The only thing I ever complain about is that the communication always implies that is not happening. Right? It's always the good. We're moving. We're making progress. Look at all this progress. Look at all this, that, and the other thing. And the idea of they must not seeing what we're playing. I don't sometimes.
I don't think that's true. I'm sure you own stocks in some company. You have a 401k or something, and I'm sure you've looked up quarterly reports from a variety, Apple, Nvidia, I don't know, whatever, Coke, I don't know what you own, but I'm sure you've looked at some point in time at quarterly reports. Every one of them are positive. There's not a single company that's, from a PR perspective, going to put out a negative report. That's killer. You wouldn't do that. And the expectation from us should be that we are the public-facing customer. We are not investors. People need to stop thinking of themselves as investors. We're backers. We are not investors. Investors have a return on investment. We do not get a return on investment. We all get the exact same return, which is the finished game. But someone that put in $10,000 or $60 gets the exact same return on investment. We're not investors. We don't have the same rights as an investor would have.
No, we have no rights.
Consumers.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty.
Consumers.
The only rights that we have are that they communicate to us regularly and that they tell us the truth.
That is true.
That is by the Kickstarter rules and all those things. In order to be a crowdfunding project, that is the only thing that they need to do is to give us clear communication about the progress of the game. And that's the one thing that I continue to argue about is not up to par, is that part of the project. You could take all the time you want. You could tell me all the problems with the game development and how hard software development it is. That's fine. I agree with all of those sentiments, and that's true. That's why I'm still here. If I really thought that they were scamming me out of all my money, I wouldn't sit here and promote the idea that they should scam more people, right?
Obviously, buddy.
Obviously not, right? So the whole thing here is that they're just not doing a great job of communicating where the project is and what's happening with things like Squadron 42. They literally... They have taken all of the issues that people have with Squadron 42, which is not telling us where the project is, so we can finally start enjoying Star Citizen, or that we can finally start enjoying Squadron 42, and talking about things like interrupt tech. It's like, I've seen this I do not want to get political, so this is where it'll end, is I see this in the presidential debates. They ask one question, and then the guy starts talking about something completely different to just deflect.
Right, now,
and the same thing is happening
that either. What I do want to say in regards is, I think the new roadmap, which is not a roadmap, by the way, it's going to be a Jira or Gantt chart, as many of the older people might know it as. It's a Gantt chart, right? And that's what's coming out. It's not going to be a roadmap.
Yeah.
I was, in the beginning, when I heard that, I was shocked that they would release a public facing Gantt chart, because that's going to lead to a lot of who's in charge of this team over here that's causing this delay. I'm worried more on that aspect, because I and also the armchair quarterbacks. Why is this in priority over this? Blah blah blah. I think a lot of that's going to end up happening. But at the same time, what a Gantt chart does show you is the exact end goal and where we actually are at any given time, and what the the things that are required before it in order to move to the next item, and why this item is being delayed. And it will at least give more perspective. Now, in order to create that, I can see why it's taking a very long time, because again, a public facing Gantt chart is, wow, it's something that no company does, that I can think of. No public company does. I mean, no one would do that. So the fact that we're getting that and they're attempting that, they really, really, really want to try to get it right, because it could go really badly for them. So I do see why it's taking a little bit longer than, at least from my perspective, from, like I said, from what I do in business, that would be, wow, they got to get it right, or they're going to get a lot of bad feedback on that.
Sure, but in the end, a majority of the players that are investing, or I don't want to say investing, that back the game are not like you. And just because you know and understand these things more than others, and you can go, oh yeah, that's all right. Fine and great. Like, they have to understand. Sure, yeah, absolutely. And but I also think it's not their job to teach us how game development works. I don't think it's their job to teach us how a business works. I think it's their job to make the video game and focus on that more than anything, and then communicate their progress on what's going on. I think this whole thing has turned into this giant, like, weird thing that it just never needed to be.
Well, I said the same thing. So one thing I want to go back to, you had a comment in the thing, it's already scrolled up, but somebody said we had bar charts before. It's the same thing. No, it's not. A Gantt chart is completely different than just some bar charts on there. I mean, it has dependencies.
What is a Gantt chart?
It has all sorts. You could simply Google that real quick, a Gantt chart or a Jira chart. Take one particular program that we have in one modem that we develop. There are 50 different things that have to be done, more than 50, but we're just say 50 different things have to be done. We have to do FPGA work. We have to create an ASIC. During that, we have to hire other companies. We have to do board design. We have to do software development. So there's a Gantt chart there. Now, that's an extremely simplistic Gantt chart that you're looking at right there. Think Microsoft Project. Now, when you're talking about full scope development, like developing an NMS, like that's one of the programs we have in my company, our Gantt chart has over 2,000 lines on it. Okay, because every single item that we know about has where it should be and what dependencies are needed to get there. So what that gives people in product management is a very clear scope of why something is taking longer, or if something's going to get pushed out. Like, for example, we call it moving to the right. If something gets delayed up north on the Gantt chart, then it automatically moves everything below it over, because obviously it's a dependency, right? So it's very important from a product management standpoint. Is it useful for us? I think if they can make it,
dependency graph would be great.
Yeah, I think that's the sticking point where I said it's going to be so hard for them to do right, because if it's 2,000 lines, that's going to be incredibly hard for people to grasp, like you were just saying, right? So that's the tough part of that, in my opinion. That's going to be the tough part. Okay. I always said that them releasing a public roadmap to begin with was shooting themselves in the foot. Sure. That's a rookie mistake. I think I said that in one of the last videos. Lots of companies do it, then they pull them back. They're like, wait, yeah, people assume this is a promise. People assume this is absolutely what's going to be done, and that's not what we're saying. We're trying to give the market an understanding of where I'm directing my engineers this year. You know, that's what it's supposed to be. But because this is open development, because this is supposed to be we get all the information, a lot of people misinterpret and call it promises, and promises said, promises not kept type stuff, and it's frustrating for the consumer. It's absolutely frustrating, and I feel that. I do feel that. So I think that's very interesting that they're going down that path, and we'll see how it goes. But I do think they're trying to do more communications. The one thing that I have the biggest complaint on in the company is a lack of good communications. And this isn't against any individual person on the community team, but in most companies, including my own, the people that are customer-facing community representatives tend to have the least amount of authority in order to say things. They have to go through 3, 5, 7 different people's approval before they're allowed to say it out to the public. So it's very difficult in this situation to have someone in the community outfacing side that doesn't have a direct authority right into Chris saying, I'm going to go out and tell the community this, yay, nay. We don't need to go through 7 approvals and different people changing wording. We need someone who has the authority to get it done and out there. That's just my opinion on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would actually make a big difference if Chris could find someone he trusted to make those kind of calls to put out information. I think that would make a big difference. And I didn't want to take up too much time. I'm sorry, I've already taken up a lot. The only other topic was back on your PvP thing. I love this event, man.
Oh, it's great.
This event is freaking awesome.
Great.
I will say that this is the best time for, you have a lot of people on here, so I'm just going to say this is the best time, bar none, to learn how to PvP. There are 0 consequences. You go over to Hex, you kill people, you die, you respawn at Hex, you get your ship again. 0 consequences. Right now is the perfect time to get out there and learn, get out there, shoot, bang, bang, get some skills up before consequences get added, like death of a spaceman, or the fact that when you recall your ship from insurance, you have no weapons on it, or whatever other penalties they're going to put to the game. I mean, we don't know exactly what they're going to do, but these are things that have been talked about. And right now is the best time to do it. Go out there, shoot, bang, bang. Now, with that said, on the mass situation, I think 50 unique kills is tough. I think that's tough in 20 days. I think there's going to be people that are going to cheese it. Quite frankly, my wife is doing everything she can to do it without cheesing it. She's up to 7 kills as of last night, and no cheesing. But if it comes to the 28th, and she needs those final kills, she's gonna do it.
Dude, I'm gonna cheese it too at the end, but at least I made the effort. Like that's the whole thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Is you like these guys are cheesing on day 1?
Yeah, that's
Are you fucking kidding me?
We agree on that. That's weak. I'm just saying. I wanted to be clear that even though I believe that you should go out there, try to do it now, that at the end of the day on the 28th, come Friday, if you ain't got them, feel free, post on the forums, get up in there and chat and do what you got to do. But come on, let's put an effort in there, because this is the perfect time to PvP and learn. And I think they're getting a lot of information, because as much as they need feedback from the top end PvPers, the Virgils and the Snake Eaters and the Space Cutlets and Noodle and all these great PvPers, they also need legitimate feedback from your average player. It can't just be all about, the top skill ceiling. They need to get some feedback from average players too.
Yeah.
So it's a great event. That was all I wanted to say. I really do like the event.
Yeah, I mean it's so fun. And like literally, there's never been anything in Star Citizen that you had to play the game to earn that item in the game that could not be purchased on the website. This is the first time ever.
Yep.
Ever. I mean, this, aside from something like an FPS weapon, this will be account bound. You will have this on your account through any wipe.
This is the first time ever that you earn something on game that they put in your
year
hangar.
8. The first time ever. This is such a big deal. Like, and the fact that people are cheesing it, and actual fans
on
of the
day
game
one.
on day one
cheesing
this and taking this away from yourself is so insane to me. Insane.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like PvPing, but I did enjoy learning it, and I am like, again, this is me, and what I love about MMOs is straight up collecting. It's all about collecting. And for me, if I am able to achieve collecting one of these things, and I'm able to do it, I'm going to try. And if I can't, then I'll earn money so I can buy it from someone else. That's how I've always played MMOs, is I want a big house with all the cool things that you don't have. Right? Like that's what my rare collecting was everything for me.
Exactly. Yeah. She's a rare collector. She has all but, we'll just say, one ship right now that's a rare ship that she didn't have. Obviously, there's some items that aren't obtainable anymore, even if you wanted to buy them, because they're account bound and you can't send them and things like that. She has to wait till the game goes live to try to trade for them then. But there's a lot of people that play MMOs for that very specific reason. That is the reason. But there's a lot of fun in the battles of MMO, and that's where we got right here. And again, I can't stress enough, there's no penalties to death right now. 0. Yeah. Absolutely none. And it kind of was my wife is a spender. If you have no idea, we're deep. Stop over at her channel. Anyways, the fact is, with no penalties, it's just the best perfect time. I get frustrated. Last night I was trying to get some kills, and you get someone all the way down, and then they QT out. They're not out of ammo. Their shields were down a little bit much. They're a little red, and they QT out. I'm like, come on, brother. We're so close to making this happen.
Exactly.
And you're gonna QT out. You were gonna spawn 50 meters from here and they pull your ship out. Come on. What are you doing?
There's no consequence to death. Just die and let me get my helmet, damn it.
I don't care if you like this event, just die. All right, brother. I took enough of your time.
Yeah, well, feel free to shout out your channel. You did a little bit there, but I don't think anybody will have the opportunity to.
It's not my channel, it's my wife's channel. It's _.
But you guys stream together.
Yeah, we do. I'm her assistant on her fucking channel. I'm the wallet and the assistant.
Gotcha.
How that goes.
All right, man. Thanks so much for stopping by.
Yeah,
have a great one, and thank you for the insight on stuff like that. Because again, I don't have that insight, so I appreciate it.
Yep.
Have a great one. All right, and our next caller, we let him skip the queue. We let him cheat a little bit and skip the queue. We let Space Cutlet come on. What's up, Space? You're muted, by the way. There you go.
Lizal. Just vote Lizal. That's it. All I have to say.
Say it again.
Vote Lizal.
What does that mean?
On the election.
Oh, I voted. Who did I vote for? I forgot who I voted. Chat, who did I vote for? The bottom lady.
Oh no.
The Lizal infrastructure.
Make you the Lizal will make you mine better.
Yeah, but the infrastructure, I like infrastructure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I watch infrastructure
It was a joke
videos.
because Lizal makes mining life better, but it also makes piracy life better. That's
okay.
That was the joke about. Okay, let's get it. Let's get a bit of discussion. First, obviously, Halloween event, right?
Yes.
So my point on this, it's super great. The initiative to do PvP is insane. First time they get out of shadows, the PvP get out of shadows, and they say go kill, right?
Yeah.
I would personally prefer that all the helmets would be obtainable only in game, but I understand they need to make money, so the beer helmet is like purchasable. The thing I don't like about this event is the Hill horror helmet. Just go to Benny Hill is a bit too easy.
Sure.
That helmet has a backstory, and basically the description for this helmet says not into the whole stabby stab killing thing, and that's kind of weird. They should have done it the whole stabby stab killing thing with a knife. We have like specific knife kills in this game, and that would be hilariously cool.
Well, how many would it be? Because I don't
know. It doesn't
how
matter.
Often do you come across somebody in a non-armistice zone that you can knife down? It's very rare.
You can do 10 kills, right? You can do 10 kills in a month. That's obtainable. Like in 3.8, I knifed like 100 people, right?
Yeah, but
or maybe more. Yeah. But I'm not saying do 100. Do like 5, right? Do like 5, 10. It doesn't matter, right? If like, I mean, I understand all the cheesing thing, and that's where I also want to get to, right? With what you guys discussed.
Mm-hmm.
It's disgusting. Yesterday, I will clip that from my stream later on, but it's disgusting. Yesterday on the server, like on every server, you can see people doing that.
Kill for kill?
So,
kill for kill?
Yeah, kill for kill, and then just gathering in packs, bringing in a Carrack or a Cutty Red, and just sending in a line somewhere and shooting people with the ship. Then someone else gets in the ship, and they shoot them again. So what we did, there was a group of like 10 people doing that. We infiltrated one of our guys into the group.
Guys, there's a Discord for this, by the way.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So we infiltrated with one of our guys in the group, He went with them to Delamar. They went out of Comlink in the middle of Delamar, somewhere in the ground. And the moment they wanted to start shooting, we roll in, kill the killer, and then kill them all and destroy all the respawn points.
Look at all these people. Every time I look at this, there's mountains of people. And they have tags of how many kills they have.
It's disgusting, man.
It's absolutely disgusting. And guess what? One of my moderators, Zeus Anoxia, is in the Discord. I caught him. He's in the Discord. Embarrassing. Shame. It's shame. It's so shameful.
Yeah, it was obvious. That thing was obvious. People will do that. So there is probably in an open world PvP game without matchmaking, there is nothing, literally nothing CAG can do.
No.
At least at this point, right? At this point of development and like the state of the game to prevent this, right? Nothing. So it was obvious for them probably too.
Sure.
But the idea of pushing this and having this is totally worth it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's totally worth it.
Absolutely.
So I'm very good with the event overall. The other thing I really don't like is the ships they choose for it. So Glaive is a good ship, is a try-hard ship. It has its own weak and strong points.
Mm-hmm.
It's broken. They would have better like put some effort into fixing the cockpit problem where it opens and not give Gladius, right?
Yeah.
Gladius is a very specific ship. I hate Gladius. I hate Gladius because it's a very OP ship in the right hands. But mouse
I
and
noticed,
keyboard users,
even for the little bit that I learned, that I was like, I killed that guy way too quickly. That was too easy for not having any PvP experience. That was too easy.
it depends on the target. Like I'm
Sure.
struggling getting those kills. Literally,
But
don't
you're
have
using
them.
the glaive, right?
No, I'm not using the glaive anymore because
Okay.
both of my glaives bugged out. I cannot spawn them. The glaive of my buddy bugged out too while I was using it. It's not spawning. So the Gladius issue is it's impossible to fly it good on mouse and keyboard.
Okay.
It's just impossible.
Gotcha.
The rolls are crazy hard. They should have what they should have
Yes.
done if then when they understood glaive is not an option, just let people increase the kill count. I don't know. Let the people use their preferred chip.
I
Because
had to
it's-
change my
it's-
curve on the rolls to
Exactly.
be insanely.
Glaive?
My curve goes like this. It goes until the very end, and then it goes up because it would just spin like way too quickly.
Exactly, because people who really fly Gladiuses have specific settings for their sticks for Gladiuses,
Yeah.
and they switch it because it is so unbalanced. There are two ships that roll like that, Gladius and Arrow.
Yeah.
And I don't know why CAG does that. They're trying to push the, like, oh, this is an agile ship. But
Yeah.
in the end, no one needs that roll that fast
Yeah.
in 99.9% of scenarios.
Yeah.
No one. And there is no way you can limit the rolling game, right? So that was a very big mistake making that a preferred ship. They should have just given just any ship you like. That's it. It would be better. Or the very good middle ground would be giving a Hornet to do that.
Yeah, or just single seat ships, maybe.
Yes. Or a Buccaneer. Buccaneer
Oh.
needs some love.
Yeah.
No one remembers the Buccaneer. It's a very good ship. And it would be much more of a Halloweenish Drake feeling, right? Instead of a goody Gladius. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was a big mistake. That's on my side.
True.
Overall, let's forget about that. You guys talked a lot. I feel the initiative is very good. People complaining should just go and complain. They will always complain. They need to stick their heads out of their asses. Understand this is not a single player game. We talked about it so much on different podcasts. It's like not even worth repeating. Moving on to something like just things that happened recently. 100 series, we discussed that too. Another starter ship without understanding what is a starter ship, right? In all this celebration. Overall, 311, you guys said there is no content. I feel it's a very good quality of life patch.
Sure.
Like 310 was a good quality of life patch, but it was dead.
Yeah.
311 brings more quality of life things, and I think it actually gonna be a much better patch than 310. It's not dead for now, obviously, because there is events going on. I think when the events will be over, after this celebration ends, it still will be alive.
Yeah.
Because of how the game works now, how the combat works now. People will need to step up their dogfighting skills with the missile changes. Well, there are a lot of like changes that doesn't really matter, like all this cargo decks. Actually, cargo decks is fun. Maybe there will be some good battles inside of this cargo decks, like they envisioned. You can lure people there and fly low speed. You guys, I listened to your talk with Morph, and you discussed the armistice zones.
Sure.
Overall, everyone were waiting for the relaxation of armistice zones. The only thing, though, yet again, it's lack of communication and lack of CG listening to actual griefers, Kappa, like us. So
it's very important to listen to the griefers.
Yeah. The moment the talks of armistice zone relaxation started back in a day, like 3.4 or something, there was a absolute like. CG's problem is sometimes they try to invent the bicycle when it was already invented, right? Invent the wheel or whatever you say, right? So there is a system that already works in other games like, oh my god, EVE Online. So the idea is a station should grant you a shield. The problem with the armistice zones right now is you can be pad rammed and you can be killed without being in a ship or having a fake feeling of safety already, right? So it's very easily solvable. The moment you spawn a ship, it's protected by station impenetrable shields, which nullify any projectile damage or even physical contact, right? Everything that tries to ram you explodes, and that's it. The same thing should happen when you approach the station. When you request landing and you're near the pad, you're caught by that shield, and that's it. You're done. You finished your job as a trader. You should not worry, right? If you had the aggression, if you dealt damage to someone, even self-protecting defensive damage, you should not be granted landing permits for like a minute, and you will not get the shields.
Yeah, and if you were the aggressor, maybe it's even longer time.
Oh no, if you're aggressor, yeah, then like turrets shoot you and all that.
Sure.
That will solve 99% of damage, 99% of problems with armistice zones, without having this big armistice zone bubble, right? Those shields will solve. I've been talking about it since 3.4. They never did it. It's an easy thing to do, I'm pretty sure. Right?
Nothing's easy with these guys, buddy.
Come again?
Nothing's easy with these guys.
Oh, yeah. Prisons, I don't know. I've expected more from prisons. There's only one new numpad to solve, which is an easy run in terms of like the patch changes. Yeah. Okay. Overall, great patch. I don't want to brag a lot about the communication. I'm totally on the same page with you about the letter from the chairman. Yeah. It's like it gives us some light, but yet again, that's a light to the future. And I'm totally, literally on page with you with what you said. They're playing their own development builds, and they have no idea what the player experience is, no matter that they have people to get that like player experience from the community, though the problem is they have this like massive spectrum to listen to, which consists of 90% of people who don't even play the game. So they're getting this weird experience feedback, and again that goes down to the something I constantly keep saying, that they need a dedicated team. It may be a very small team, but a very professional oriented players that can see the bigger scope and that will actually give them the proper feedback besides the overall global spectrum feedback of what's the problems, the current problems in the game, and so they can fix the low-hanging fruits that are not taking too much effort to fix, but give a very good quality of life like improvements, right? They need those guys who will be playing only live builds, not the dev builds, but the live builds, and give them feedback. It's like recently I literally raged in my stream about how much time you spend requesting landing, right, and takeoff requesting.
Yeah.
Right. You miners and especially traders know about that. I've calculated that in 2 years of playing the game, you will spend 5 days of your lifetime. That's like what, 100 something 20 hours or what, right? Requesting landing. And I mean not taking off and landing, just requesting, doing the mobi-glass animation. You will spend 5 days of your lifetime just doing the mobi-glass animation. And those are the examples they don't care about, but they have to be done there.
Yeah. So let me ask you real quick before we let you go, is the idea that players are upset that things are mostly PvP. I like the idea of we're talking about the masks again. That I like the idea of the fact that Betty Henge is a PvE thing. They have I like that they had a mix of everything. You could buy this helmet on the website, you can get this one by not doing any combat, and you could do this one by doing combat. I like the idea that it touched everybody. But what are your thoughts on people that are just going, I'm not going to do mining anymore? Like, my argument with Morph was, just don't be stupid. I don't know.
Oh yeah, but you know me totally. Like, just don't be stupid. Like, I that's why I didn't want to like go into that, because you literally
just said what you would. Okay.
What I always say. Yeah. There are all the possibilities for a player to avoid. I mean, unless he's obviously ganked right on the pad, right? Yeah. But overall, when he does the input into like already he did the time input into the mining, unless he's retarded and stupid, or uneducated. Okay, I won't get to those harsh words. I'm sorry for those players. They may not be just like educated, so they're not retarded, right?
Yeah. The whole thing is there, especially if you're going to be a rock miner, you could sell literally anywhere, so you don't even have to go to the major ports. That's the point.
Yeah, I mean, there is possibly a probability I will catch you when you're incoming somewhere to Bezdek, right, with your rock, but. Again, that's like what a pirate do, right? What I do, I go to, I jump to Ariel, and I go to Bezdek and Lathan. I check, no one is there. I ping, like also like a bit of an insight, so you guys do know what I do personally. I sit on the middle of, for example, Bezdek. I see no one. Then I do a ping, right? Then I do a ping, and. If I see a ping show up further than 10 kilometers, it's a suspect, because rocks don't show up as rocks. I mean, like minerals don't show up as ping further than 10 kilometers. And if there is a ship closer than 10 kilometers, I will see it visually. So everything that goes beyond 10 kilometers is a suspect, right?
Of course.
That's it. So you go out 50 kilometers, chances I will go and find you. Miserable. I sometimes when
you could see pings forever too if you just see them. They're so obvious.
Yeah, I sometimes may do a cross, which means I will go 30 kilometers out every direction from the and make another ping to check for someone. But that's like super rare. I do because when I'm super bored.
Yeah,
that's it. For trading. It's a bit harder because there are choke points. But again, if you want to do high risk trading, that's on you.
Yeah.
Bring some escorts. If you don't want to do high risk trading, go for lower profit there where no one else goes. Easy as that. So
Sure.
people complaining about that is just, come on. I think, like, again, as the Morph said, right? Totally. I was really happy to hear that from Morph, actually, because I didn't know his standpoint on this, and I was really happy to hear him say his vision on the bigger scope, on like people like Goon Swarm and all that. That's gonna happen. I never knew that was his standpoint. I was really happy to hear that. It's gonna happen. It's an open PvP game.
Yeah.
People dug their heads into their asses too deep and for too long, thinking this is some kind of a shitty like single player experience. There will be always privilege to it. No, it's not gonna happen. If it's gonna happen, if that's where CAG will go, we'll protect them at all costs. Well, I'll bail from the game. I'm not interested in that. I will feel very bad for 8 years of my wasted time, right? Or 10 years probably at that point, but I'll bail.
Okay.
I'm annoying, Labs. I know. I'm sorry.
Listen, Space has more understanding of how this game works than anybody I've ever spoken to, and he can get all the time he needs. All right? So chill.
Yeah, and with this, I will not annoy Labs anymore, and I will give time to other guys. So yeah, because I need to do fam stuff.
Yeah, man.
That's why I cheated a bit the queue, because I really need to run.
All right, yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for coming on, and I appreciate your insights for everything, dude.
Thank you for the inviting, man.
Of course. All right, be good, bud. All right, so the best part about this is we have the guy who owns that Discord that we showed off. He wants to talk. I don't really want to talk. I don't know. Like, it's just you're circumventing the whole problem. Sigma, welcome to the show. We're bringing on Sigma Tech. How's it going, guys?
Hey, Mike. Can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear. Maybe not too loud, so I'll bring you up a little bit.
Cool, perfect.
How's it going?
I guess I'll keep it short and sweet, just so we can kind of smash through.
Sure.
Do you want to start with the good or the bad?
The bad. Let's end with something sweet.
Okay, cool. I would say if we go through the bad, I'm going to be honest. I didn't back this project because Chris Roberts' name was on it. Never played Wing Commander, never played Freelancer, Privateer, none of that.
Okay.
When I read that letter to the chairman and I read the updates, I feel sorry for you guys, to be honest.
Okay.
It reads like someone in a waking fever dream that's got some kind of schizophrenic approach to handling certain things, to kind of lean into Space Cutlet. When the lead of the project saying that piracy is in the game, what a joke. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not in any kind of position where you could say that it's in anything tangible to the players to enjoy. I would say what the players put in make it enjoyable, but it's not in a good place at all. Exploration, like you covered before, how are we exploring within one system? No, like it's not a thing.
Yeah.
And his attitude of lately, like, I'm sorry, but if I look at everybody that's looking at it from Kickstarter days, it's like, what are you on about? Like, your project? Okay, I can kind of understand that. It'll be done when it's done. What does that mean? Don't ask for dates? What does that mean? And like the consensus here is like, well, if that's not what you wanted, why did you back up? Why did you back it? And for a more newer backer, it's kind of like, I just don't buy that attitude. It's just not good, and it's dissuasive against people that want to get into it as well, because then the community is kind of the thing that pushes it more than the people that are making it, and I feel like that's a really wrong message to be sending out to people that want to get into the community. It kind of undermines everybody else's efforts. It undermines Morph. It undermines you. It undermines Cutlet. Like, a lot of the efforts you guys put in to kind of showcase the strengths of the game kind of get undone. And I feel like if it was any other game, it wouldn't have really worked. I would say that the other minor one is like when you look at Squadron 42, it's like, what? Like, where are we at? Where's the deadline? Like, what is the momentum here? Theaters of War again. Like, these are just things that are slowly falling onto the wayside. I'm like, tell and not show is the name of the game. Like, is this
Theaters of War
what
got
we're playing
one
now?
sentence.
Yeah, I mean,
One sentence.
how is this acceptable? Like, I'm sorry, but if you've spent $60 or 30 grand, like, you need to really think about what it is that you're continuing to support in any nature. And I would disagree with your other caller saying that we're not investors. Like, we're not investors in the traditional sense, but we are emotionally invested, and that is equally as important for every single person. But to move on to the positive, I am a PvEer all the
Okay.
way.
Sure.
And I would say that these masks are easily the best thing that this game has ever done. 100%. I'm not a PvPer. I'm not a dogfighter. But I actually want to do it.
Yeah.
And that's the first time that I could say that it's absolutely a thing. Never been to Benihenge. I made it. I did
Yeah.
the work, took the time, figured out how to get there. Same thing with others. I mean, I'm actively helping them. I wouldn't say I'm one of those guys that are cheesing it, saying, "Hey, let's go meet up and kill for kills." I'm one of those guys that'll say, "Pay me, and you can get the kill." You know, like if there's an opportunity there, I'll take it. But I would say the key thing here is keep it going. We've got a Star Runner release coming up. We've got the IAE coming up. I feel like the thing that they cannot afford to trip on is continuing the cosmetic thing. Everybody's excited for it because you've now got key things that are making you engaged and you want to do it. Whether it's wanting to try something you've never done before and you want to give it a shot versus engaging with other players. Like, there was a guy that was getting ganked earlier today and he was super angry, you know, and people were sitting here just being like, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's a PvP event that's going on right now. What do you expect?" Guess what I saw? Other people in the chat offering to give him protection.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, multi-crew's starting to happen now. We kind of come into the conversation that we had last week when I was saying when you start really thinking about the core things amongst different mechanics and how they can start interacting with each other, you start seeing another layer to the game that starts forming. And I feel that if there's one thing that this whole thing is, this big test is kind of trying to show everybody, is that I feel like this is what Pyro's actually going to be. So enjoy it while you've got it, because I feel like the narrative here should be, let's keep pushing it, because if this is what Pyro's going to be like all the time, then that's the game I definitely want to be playing, for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
and it's not the game that Chris is talking about either.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the key thing here.
Like, and the whole thing with the mask, dude, is if there's a PvP event, the idea of the reward for the PvP event is that the PvPers get to farm that reward and sell it to the PvEers, right? Because
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
so many things that PvEers are able to do that they can sell to PvPers, that finally when there's a PvP event, that it's like this epic moment that a PvPer can sell something to a PvEer, right? That doesn't happen very often in MMOs, and this was one of those scenarios. Like, I know that this helmet, for the time being, will obviously be account bound, but there's no way that they're planning on anything that is account bound on the website to be account bound to your account when the game is like a finished product. You're obviously going to be able to take that helmet off and hand it to somebody else if you want, or sell it to somebody else. And the idea of farming it now for the future later is really important. And anybody, I don't care if it's open and CIG allows for the absolute, like, just cheesing of the entire system. Like, that's obviously something that CIG needs to learn from. But if you think that they didn't know that it was going to happen in the first place, you're crazy. The culture of Star Citizen and their community is the problem here. And the fact that these people feel entitled enough that they feel that they deserve or that they should be going after these things is the problem, right? Is that they have the absolute fear of missing out, that they cannot possibly avoid playing the game without trying. But the thing is that they didn't even attempt. The people who are doing it now aren't even attempting to do it normally when these discords are here for the end time to try and get in and get your last couple kills. If you want to use that Discord, if you want to kill for somebody at the end, I really don't have any issue with that. But if you're not even going to attempt it in the beginning, you're a fucking embarrassment. And that's the end of the story. That you're like, an absolute embarrassment.
I mean, I'm only on 3 of 50 kills, and I'm already telling myself, am I probably going to hit the 50? Maybe not. Are there ways that I can help others get to that goal easier? Absolutely. I can be a support fighter for someone else that's in their Gladius. That's perfectly fine for me. I would say that when you talk about that fear, that deadline, maybe it's a symptom of the community, maybe not at large, but more a particular part of it where they kind of go, this isn't something you can buy on the website.
Yeah.
And the only way you can do it. And I feel like if the argument for these people is like, well, I got to do it now, otherwise I'm not going to get it.
I'll read the argument from the owner of the Discord real quick, just to interject here. He goes, in general, it was created to assist people who either didn't have the time or skills to deal with it. He also started out with, I'm happy with what happened. A lot of people came and found people and found fun to play. Other people that have fun playing with each other. I'm sure friends are going to be made out of this Discord. There's many positive things that can happen. But in general, the health of the game is where there's some things you're not going to be able to do, guys. And I'm sorry, there's some things in the game that if you don't have the time for, what you have to do is you either have to buy money on the website and buy it, or you have to earn money in game over time and then buy it. Those are your choices. Like, this is a video game in the end of it, and there's some elements of a video game that need to be preserved, and you're not preserving them. And the health of the game hurts because of things like this.
I would say that maybe I'm probably a more unique case where I can say that I would agree with most of that. The part I wouldn't agree with is the fact of kind of what you're saying, right? You're kind of undermining the purpose of why it's there. If it's just to be a quick thing and you're kind of bypassing the badge of honor that's supposed to come with it, then to me, the thing I would worry about more, and this is what I was going to mention before, is that if these are the kinds of people that are going to do this sort of activity, trying to get what they feel that they are entitled to without having earned it, what does that mean for ships? Is that just what the game's going to be?
No, that's the whole thing. Is this all started with ships? This mentality starts with ships, and then it leads and it leaks. It's leaking all over this shit. And that's where this mentality comes from, and that's the problem. That's why I say this. I've always said this community is toxic, not in the traditional sense, but in that sense. I
would say it's
this whole
not toxic, but entitlement that's starting to really filter through, and it's not being regulated enough. And I would say, kind of just to kind of end it on like a somewhat positive note, it kind of goes back to what I said before. You've got 2 largely big events before the end of the year, because if I'm being honest, this birthday event was kind of meh. There wasn't really a lot for me to get excited about going forward. I mean, all I know from now is that once that Star Runner is out, I'm probably going to go play Cyberpunk in December, because heaven forbid if Theaters of War gets a surprise unveiling in December. I'm not really going to be totally invested in anything. But I tell you what, this will be the thing that does make me go, oh, maybe I will be invested a little bit longer, as more events like this mask. Give us cosmetics, give us skins, give us reasons to log in and play and talk to other people, have your mics on, engaging in the events, and not setting up stupid shit like Discords to circumvent certain things that you should have to earn. If you can pull the Discord mentality away and start engaging through the channels that the game has, you're going to have an exciting game before the end of 2020. Cool. It's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Sig.
No worries. Cheers, man. Have a
good one. Be good, buddy. All right, let's get Doctor in here. Hey, Doctor, what's up, dude? Let me. I wasn't prepared for you just this second, so let me get your name up there. What's up, dude? So, what do you think about this stuff? Your Doctor has been hinting this week that he is ready for a rant. Are you still going to rant today?
Probably not. After what happened.
Sure.
So obviously the patch went live.
Hold on, you're really.
And I could actually test out the stuff in the patch. And the patch it's alright. As a patch, it's excellent. Still has the performance issues. Mm-hmm. It's stable though. It's stable. I haven't had any issues at all. Apart from one small issue. And how's about it?
Okay. So what, if you were going to choose, because I kind of gave a few topics to start the day, is there anything specific you want to talk about?
No, not really. Besides the actual like patch, no, not really.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Are you trying for the helmet?
no. I just don't. It's like the helmet. It's alright, but it's like it's just not there for me. Like I'm not like.
You're not
Like,
the
I'm not
PvP type?
Yeah, I'm not really that type.
Yeah. That's why I really wish this was the one thing that I feel like they just missed the mark on, was that if you hit like the 100 kill mark in the 20 days, that you get a second one that's like tradable. Right?
Yeah.
So then you can, I guess it just doesn't work right now, because what am I going to do? Am I going to trade it to you for real money? You know, it kind of promotes that a little bit. But the idea of that would have been really sick if, because for guys like you that don't want to do it, that's okay. But you might want the helmet because it looks really cool. Well, having the opportunity to get you that helmet would be nice, but I don't want to give up the only one that I have, right? That's the only part where I feel like it just missed the mark. If they had a second one that we could trade to other players, that would have been sweet.
That would have been.
Yeah.
That would have been the perfect thing to do.
Now, Doc, I'm gonna put you on the spot here a little bit, and I'm sorry if I make you uncomfortable, but you see it in Twitch chat. I see it in the YouTube comments a lot. A lot of people are like, what's wrong with him and all this other stuff. So do you want to explain, like, you have a little bit of a stutter. I think you're one of the bravest people for coming on the show and sharing your thoughts when it's a little bit more difficult for you to do than others. Do you want to share at all about what's going on? So people can shut the fuck up about it for once, and not be obnoxious assholes because they're not brave enough to come on.
So I have a stutter. If you don't have the time to take that like into care, then you can just go. Because if you don't have the time to care about it, or if you don't think about it, then I don't want to like talk to you about it. Like I don't want to.
Yeah.
And also, like it's something that I don't like to talk about, but you know,
I figured
I have to talk about it now because it's a thing.
Yeah. I apologize for putting you on the spot, but like,
No,
I'm really, like, I love that you come on the show and you provide good insight and good points, and it might take a little bit longer to get there sometimes, but that's all. It's not that big of a deal, but people tend to make this big deal about it, and we all come from different walks of life. We're all different. We all have our issues, and I just don't know why some people need to be dicks about it, basically. So let's get back to the game. I just wanted to make sure we made that point finally.
Yeah.
And that I love you, man, and I'm proud of you, and I'm glad you're on my team. You know. But yeah, so the helmet's not really for you. What have you been doing when playing the patch? Because a lot of people are afraid of doing mining, and I know that's been your thing.
Yeah. I've been testing out the like the new FPS stuff. So a shotgun.
Okay.
That's quite good to use.
Did you use the grenade launcher?
And yeah, I did as well. That's quite good as well to use.
It's pretty insane, right?
Yeah. It's just a one shot and that's it.
Are you going to the bunkers to use it?
I haven't started that one yet, but it's something I am thinking about.
Gotcha. The one time I went to the bunkers there were so many NPCs I ran out of ammo.
Yeah, that was strange that.
Yeah.
And it really.
I think it was like specifically because of the grenade launcher.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing to do.
All right, somebody asked this in chat. I have to ask it. Have you killed yourself with the grenade launcher by accident yet?
Yes.
Okay.
I panicked. I was at SPK.
Uh-huh.
And as SPK, like an NPC just sprinted up, and I just like I didn't think about it. I just fired one off, and yeah.
And you hit the wall right in front of you.
Yeah, I was just that bit too close, and then yeah, so that was quite.
Oh, that's great. I have not yet, but I've only used it once, so it's coming. My time will come.
Yeah, like everyone will have their time, and it'll be hilarious.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. Since did you follow any of the Citizencon stuff at all, or you're just more interested in playing the game and don't care about all the hoopla outside of it?
I did take a look at like all the posts and stuff.
Anything excite you, or?
It was an excellent effort, but it's just not like that's just not me. Like that's not what I'm here for.
Gotcha.
I'm here to play the game.
You're a gamer.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I guess since we hit everything that you probably wanted to talk about, since all the other stuff is outside of the game, is there anything you want to add before we let you go and go to the great Unmatched that people have actually been asking for to come on today, which is hilarious?
No, there's no. No one has anything.
All right. Well, go make some popcorn because Unmatched is coming on.
Ooh.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Get your popcorn out. All right, Doctor, have a great day. You're very brave. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks.
I love you, man. Be good.
Yep.
All right, Unmatched. What's up?
Yeah. Can you hear me good?
I hear you loud and clear, brother. Chat's got their popcorn. They're ready to go.
It seems like the whole time you guys could not get off that mask topic for the last for everybody in this.
Are you not excited about the mask?
I mean, I'm excited that if I'm able to sell it in the future for a massive profit, yeah. But if it's just account bound, I don't care. That's why I have so many knives in my inventory, because I'm hoping that those subscriber knives, I could sell one, keep one, and maybe give another one to a friend.
100%. Why do you think I stay subscribed? I feel I'm exactly the same. The whole thing about all of these little rare items that over time, if the game ever becomes a game, that those items do gain in value, but for in-game credits. Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping. That's the only reason.
There's dude. There's no way that mask will be. There's not. I doubt there's going to be anything considered account bound to the game, other than maybe your ship pledge purchases. But even then, I think that would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing that I want to talk about today is those videos, the 16 and 1 hour videos.
Tell me, I did not watch the 1 hour video. I watched a little bit of it. So
the 1 hour video, the two main things that they spoke about was one they had one dev, he was just basically showing around this old decommissioned telecommunication array. He was just showing us around there. And the second part was the one that you saw, which was the guy showing these different way, basically conversation transitions if you walked away from the
I saw
NPCs.
that part.
Yeah.
That was cool.
So that one, overall, the hour video was just meh, but it raised other questions that are worth talking about.
Okay, like what?
I'll get to it. The first part of the video where the guy showed around the station and stuff like that, it was kind of boring, because what vibe the Squadron 42 atmospheres are gonna give off, mostly dark, you creeping around and stuff like that. I like the fact that the you'll have different routes to go through to complete your missions, and there's secret hidden paths and stuff like that. I like that, but it was just mostly it wasn't really showing much except for an environment that was anybody that's following Star Citizen really wouldn't be impressed about, or
Yeah.
is new to anybody that's been following Star Citizen, But it was good. And the second, I would say the second part was cooler when they talked about the conversation transitions. I thought that was cool for immersion, even though I don't care too much for immersion. From like a scale from 1 to 10, I would say I care like 4 or 5 for immersion.
No doubt.
Immersion
But in
really.
any single player game you've ever played, is it not kind of like annoying to get locked in to conversations with NPCs, and then when you come out, they act really weird? Like, there's so many Skyrim memes because of shit like this, right?
That's why I do care about it to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Because uh but I would care more. It would be more like a 7 or 8 for me if we would get any sort of confirmation whether or not this game is going to be, they said 20 hours, but the game doesn't seem like it's going to be 20 hours anymore, and linear. It like the things that I'm seeing, the thing that I was saying, the question that it raised more about these things, is the game going to be like actually going to be that 20 hours, or they're putting so much work into that big station and these conversation transitions and stuff like that, and you sit there and think like why would they put so much work into, like, why the station part? They said that um it's an early stage of the game, station. Meaning, like, in the starting of the game, that's the first station you're gonna see, or something like that.
Yeah.
They mentioned that, so I'm like, all right, so why is this map so big if you're just gonna spend like 15 minutes on it? But you've got like a million different rooms, and
Because they want you to have the option to explore around, I guess.
yeah, I guess, but like, it doesn't make any sense to have such a big playing area for a linear game, it really doesn't. It like can you, like, I hope in some way, as you've said in before, that Chris Roberts' game always had some version of like free roaming or in something like that. And I hope that that's what it's like in this game. I hope that they have some type of mechanism that's like GTA like where your story will only continue if you go speak to this certain NPCs. Other than that, days could pass by and you could be off doing something else, you know what I'm saying? Until you speak to this certain NPC to continue the story,
Sure.
Yeah, like in GTA, that's how it works. Like, you could be doing things for days on end in the game, but all you have to do is talk to one guy to continue the story, and that story is locked off from everything else that you're doing in the game. Like buying houses in GTA or something like that. But I just think that one station was too big for it to just. I'm like sitting there like, damn, that thing is big for just linear for a linear game. Our whole system is going to be too big just for a game that you just blast through in one day and nobody's talking about it 2 years later.
Well, I don't think we ever. I don't know. I don't know where you get this mentality of this game's going to be super linear. Like, obviously it will be, but there's going to. My expectations at the very least. I mean, dude, they called this a quadruple A game, but I don't. Oh man, that was bad. And the so the idea would have to be like, I imagine you would be able to do some side quests type of things.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping, that you could like maybe have some character development on the side or something like that.
Yeah.
But there was something else that bothered me in the 16-minute video.
Okay.
And basically Chris Roberts coming out saying that you're not going to see this tech, you're not going to see this AI development, you're not going to see all these things until Squadron 42 comes out. In a certain part in the video, he basically goes on like for a few seconds that they're holding back tech and stuff like that, for until you see Squadron 40. He basically said until Squadron 42 launches, you're not going to see any of this tech in the actual PU, because we want it to be a surprise. And I was like, oh my god, I don't even know when Squadron 42 is going to come out, so this could be forever.
Yeah.
To get an upgrade, for the AI to get an upgrade, and all these things. And I'm just like, oh my god.
It's all very confusing, because if you're not extremely clear about where the project is, it's very confusing what's happening.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. You're just sitting there and you're just like, so he literally said we're not gonna the AI is not gonna get an upgrade, conversation's not gonna get an upgrade, you're not gonna see certain assets and this, that, and the other thing, simply because the Squadron 42 is not out, and I
Yeah.
was like, oof. I was
Yeah.
but yeah, it's something else. But other than that, I would say the video and the 1 hour video and the 16-hour video was a very small step in the right direction. I just hope to see more communication, a little bit, like back in the old days. Basically what happened in the old days is what they gave us this week, on a normal week back
Yeah.
at like a few years ago is what they did this week.
Yeah.
And to newer players, newer people in the computer, they had their mind blowing, but to us this was a normal week years ago. You had hour-long videos constantly every week, and I just hope they just I know it's not going to happen, but hopefully just continue this. But
Yeah.
other than that, the videos, they were good. I just think the first half of the first video wasn't too important, just assets, them showing off a decommissioned communication array, and it wasn't much. It just I just hope the only thing that both videos, I mean, the first 1 hour video made me hope is that more that like, again, I just hope the game isn't too, like, linear, and you can actually, like, invest a certain amount of time into it instead of just blasting through it and that'll be the end of it. Maybe you could go off, like, in between missions, and, like, maybe do bad or good things, or
Mm-hmm.
develop, like, maybe, like, buy a homestead on some planet. Develop outside of the military or something like that. That's what
Sure.
I would hope.
Yeah.
um but yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about, unless you have something else to bring up. But yeah.
No, not really. I mean, I'm more excited about like this in-game event than anything lately, and
Yeah,
that's
and
really
I
where my head's
understand why.
focused. Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
finally have an incentive to play the game that I've wanted to play. And not only that, but it takes me out of the same mining grind that I've been doing. So it's actually really refreshing and really nice, and
Yeah,
I've been
yeah,
enjoying
and
it.
then as the thing, it gives something for the players to aspire for, that you just don't buy
Exactly.
and throw in the game, and it locks it behind a pretty decent wall to climb,
Yeah.
unless you're cheating, you know. And
Yep.
I plan on doing it myself with the little time I have in between working 55 hours a week. I'm gonna try to do it.
Yeah.
So
Well, good luck to you,
yeah.
of course.
All right, all
If you
right.
need if you need any help cheesing it, there's plenty of opportunities.
Maybe if I don't make it, I'll cheese it on the last week. But I'll give it an honest try.
Give
Honest
it,
to God.
yeah,
But
give it a good try.
yeah. All
Yeah,
right,
don't
man.
take the only gameplay CIG has ever given to you away.
Yeah.
All right, Unmatched.
Yeah.
Have a great
All
one.
right.
Thank you so much for calling in, man. I appreciate it. Looking forward to your
Alright.
next one.
All right.
Later, buddy. All right, and our next caller is Quams. Quams, what's up, dude? And this is our last caller of the day.
Hey, Quams. Hi. But
How-
let me mute stream for us. Hey,
No
how are you
problem.
doing?
I'm doing well, man.
Yeah, so Florida is nice and sunny as opposed to northern Germany, which is really, really blah at the moment.
Well,
So
you
we
know
have it
what?
better.
Every single day, every single work day I've driven into work, it has been an absolute monsoon downpour where I can't even see in front of my car. It's super scary. Every single day I'm driving to work, it's been insane. So we haven't had much sun lately.
Okay, then you feel like me,
But
just add
today-
the cold.
Today is sunny and nice.
Yeah, first thing, something I want to push forward is, so to anybody who is making fun about the doctor, shut the fuck up. And now I'm torturing you with a strong German accent. Man, I have two things I want to touch on quickly, I guess, because you're the end of your show.
Yeah,
That's okay for you?
yeah, of course.
Man, first thing is what bit on what the Q already hinted on.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the whole progress thing and how they communicate, I think that ZIG is caught in the mindset of public traded company, of something where it's important to protect the value of the company by carefully vetting any information you give out. But it's not what they basically are. I mean, they are public, they are funded by the community, and they're getting, for the way how they communicate, they get a lot of bad wipes and acid and whatever in Spectrum, and we don't talk about the other outlets at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're making a wrong assumption there. I guess they should have switched to the most dangerous thing you usually could do as a company by providing your gun charts a lot earlier. And the reason why I think this, and even though I've been in academia for a really long time, and now since a couple of years in R&D and responsible for R&D of a public traded company, so I know about the dangers. I know about the things that you never ever want to give out to anybody, to armchair developers, to all these people. The internal workings of your development project. But this is slightly different, in my opinion, with Star Citizen.
Sure.
Because they could. I mean, you were really angry before, and I was listening to your stream and thinking like, oh man, yeah, and I know where that's coming from, because Star Citizen is a huge endeavor technically, and it's absolutely clear and normal, and for people like myself, and I think that in the community there are more than just Q and me and like this is. I see the problems coming up. I know what it means if you're starting to make technical depth over depth over depth, because there's just these two things which block everything, and you see that you need to overcome them, and there is a bug after bug, and things you thought will work that way for some reason completely tank. And you working and grinding and you have really the feeling that the whole project is sort of, the pressure is increasing and everything is focused on these two things. For an outsider, that looks like the completely standstill of everything. And the insider, the people who in the project, most of the time it's just only a small team. That's even more bad. Are grinding away like crazy to overcome the hurdle. And usually you keep that quiet because you never know what that means for how investors judge you, how the stock market judge you, how the owners judge you, how the market itself judge you, how competition judges you. But in this case, man, go out, make it clear to us without dates. And I'm really with you. When I read the Chris Roberts letter, and I came to the point, oh yeah, it might be Q2. I was like, man, are you fucking kidding me? Haven't you learned a thing?
Why are you even saying that in the first place?
Yeah, exactly. Why the hell are you saying that? I mean, it's completely unnecessary. We don't care. It would have been enough to say, guys, these are the major showstoppers at the moment, and there might be even more afterwards. Be honest about this and show us in sort of slightly dumbed down gun chart. Like, look, guys, this is where it's blocking. iCache, we need to have iCache, and iCache is a problem, and yes, we have the technology there, but we need to test it. We need to have it to a point that it actually is able to deal with the huge amount of data and requests and everything coming in from a thing like Star Citizen, and show us how you're making progress and make it clear to us. Look, all of this is waiting for this valve to open, and that would be. I mean, yes, people will jump around, and there will be people on Spectrum, and it's always the same people anyway. If you look a little bit of the names, you see that it's basically the same people over and over. And they will complain, and they will do stuff, and they will tell us that CIG is the management is shit and everything is bad. And but you have that anyway. But I think you could maybe please is a bit the wrong word there, but you can nullify a lot of the concerns we all have, and give us a bit more of an warm feeling about, okay, yeah, it's progressing. Yeah, we don't see it because it's back-end tech, but we all know, all right, this is the valve coming out. It's a bit like OCS. I mean, we remember 3.0. I mean, you played 2.6. I didn't have a computer rig to play it at that point in time. But we all know that the more stuff they added, the absolutely batshit crazy these servers went. And then they had OCS in. They had server-side OCS in, and suddenly things started to work again. Well, then they put in more stuff, which basically, sort of like slowed everything down again. But we knew, okay, this is coming. This is pushing forward, and I really don't understand why they are so reluctant to focus more on these sides. And then you have Chris Roberts coming out, and you were rightfully angry, to be honest, on that letter. I feel with you. I wouldn't have put it like this, but because I'm a bit more calmer person when it comes to that stuff.
Well, it's very often that CEO types are more like narcissistic types or whatever. Like not calling him a narcissist like in the negative sense, but they tend to not have as much compassion or empathy as people who are more followers rather than leaders, right? It's just like a thing that is common with people that are at the top of companies and presidents and things like that.
Absolutely, and you need these people. I mean, my boss is a bit in the same direction as well, the owner of the company, and I'm not. I'm more the Brian Chambers, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But
who's the guy that communicates to the investors? Is it your boss
we have no. Oh no.
Oh no. Like here, lies the problem in a lot of situations.
Yeah. Oh, right. Never. Actually, the good thing about my boss is that he is actually pretty much in line with the marketing and the guys who talk to the investors, and he's pretty clear about, okay, we have to go through everything we put out. I mean, a public traded company, that also is a problem. I mean, you have to communicate, and there's a lot of shit happening in the background. We don't have to go into that one. But for me, it's the biggest disappointment of this weekend. And I was really looking forward to when they said, oh yeah, Squadron 42 videos coming out. Oh yeah, there will be a letter to the chairman. Oh, we will give you more information. I had the same hope like you had, that is more, okay, guys, these are the blockers. This is what we need. Look, our plan is right now, we need to have iCache out. And iCache means that it's server meshing. And these are the parts which are basically blocking the progress we can do, because guys, the servers just don't do it anymore. We can't add more gameplay or more like this because the servers block it. Or we have all these ideas about salvage or missions, or even getting more better, the mission system better, because hey, look, it all relies on iCache. And in the meantime, we are doing this and this art, we are doing this and this concepting, we're doing this and this, giving it an idea that you see that is happening, and not looking at little cards on a roadmap, and as the Q said, and interpreting them as promises, which they never were, more like, like what they're trying to achieve. And I think that I'm nearly 100% certain that switching to such a system will make the whole experience of watching the development of this hopefully great game in the end a lot more bearable, if that's the right word.
Yeah. I think it just comes down to, everybody wants Chris on camera, everybody wants Chris to be talking, but Chris doesn't have the time to understand where we're coming from. And it would be really great if Lando or Tyler or Molly or anybody related to the community team handled a lot more of these types of things than other people.
Yep, because that's their job. I mean, that's why they hired, or that's why they are promoted in these positions they are in.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And I think it wasn't. I mean, people were like, "Oh yeah, Chris is back on the forums. Chris is finally saying something again." And I was like, "Hey, is it really necessary?" When his first reaction came on.
Sure. I mean, I don't know. It's just.
Yeah. It's a bit. I mean, the frustrating part is that you're looking. I mean, it for me is I'm due to time reasons. I'm not playing that much these days. But the frustrating part is every time I'm on it and I'm lucky enough to land in a server that is still working. I mean, I had a server last week, which was really healthy. All the NPCs were walking around. The bartenders were working. You know, you could actually see where this game is heading to.
Were you the only player on the server?
We were 30 people.
Okay. That's pretty awesome.
So it was, yeah, that was actually pretty awesome. Yeah, and I was doing nothing more than being space DHL. You know, these days I really like to hop around Microtech and doing the box missions and looking at the scenery and getting enough money to finally fully equip my stealth rated prospector, to be able to mine without being seen, and I really enjoyed it. And then after something like I only want to play for a couple of hours, and suddenly it was 4:00 in the morning on a Saturday, and I was like, oh well shit, I'm on it for 9 hours now.
Oh, wow.
And I was really looking like, okay, this is the experience where we want to go. And then the week started again, and back and forth, and what's on the roadmap, and yeah, we're promising here, and look, guys, this is working, and rightfully, I mean, who the hell thinks that piracy is working? And I mean, trading is a shit show.
Yeah.
Sorry, there is no trading. I mean, you go and you wait for whatever 20 minutes for some ridiculous loading timer, which is some kind of production thing, which are so obviously...
Which makes sense, but it's not well implemented, and yeah.
Yeah, because it's obviously somebody sat down and thought like, okay, I think this mining makes whatever Laranite an hour. And that's how you have to wait. But there's no relationship to anything coming in, because that is what Tony Servek's Quantum should do at whatever point in time that's going to happen, which again is relying on iCache or server meshing, or it's a bit going forward and telling like, oh yeah, that's what it is, and oh yeah, that's what we're going to do, and this is a bit of my next half. You know what that reminds me a lot? Academia. This is exactly what happens in engineering academia. You have people promise things, and they have the greatest fun, and it's fun, to imagine where you want to go, what you want to do. And in the end, reality is lacking. And at some point, you really hit the part. No, you hit real life hardcore. And I mean, it's something I used to call the 20-year lie. This is my area. It's robotics, where people since 60 years, people telling us that in 20 years robots will be completely autonomous and clean your windows, do your grocery shopping, explore whatever there is. And 20 years later, you have a delta of a little bit. And being at the back end, because it's fucking hard problem. And that's the same with, I mean, it's, if you look at the engineering task these guys are aiming at with Star Citizen, it's a nightmare. You won't, I mean, I don't think that you will ever be able to get any sane investor to give you money for an endeavor like this.
That
must be, yeah.
They managed like $60 million, so somebody believes in it.
Yeah, but only after the community already had invested something like 120 millions?
No, over 200. Over 200 at that point.
Over 200, yeah, at the time. Yeah, just I mean, you already went to the point.
Are you saying we're all insane?
Aren't we all insane?
Yes.
I mean, seriously?
Yes, we are. The answer is yes.
That's what I think every morning when I look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the slight second point I want to hit on is the event, and I must say I'm not a PvPer. I've never been a PvPer. I played for 10 years World of Warcraft on a PvE server and was happy, because for me computer gaming is always something I'm It's more like I do to relax. And
Sure.
I want to have a certain level of predictability. I never have had anything against PvP. That's not the point. It's just like, it's not my piece of cake. I logged in yesterday, and I was like, oh shit, this event is happening, and I was I already flew to PO to switch to my perspective to go to Yella. And I was like, shit, this event is happening. I somehow managed to land.
Okay.
And then I was in my perspective, and then I went off, and I actually, I don't know, I think it was 5 seconds. I don't even think that I managed to leave the pad. And then I blew up, and I was like, oh man, I was so close, Mike, so close to leave. And I thought, okay, guys, no. I pulled out my Gladius, and I had a hell of a fun. Seriously, I went over to I went to Grimhex after, like, oh shit, I have with the crime stats not good, and I had 2 hours of fun. I managed 2 kills because I really sucked at it. I guess if the asteroids around Grimhex could get Vandal hammered as well, they would have more than enough. But it was so much fun. And I can really think like, that is what they need to do more. The only slight sad thing about it, it's coming back to CIG's communication. Yeah. Because I think they should be honest. They should say, guys, we make this event. And one of the reasons why we make this event is we need to test PvP. We need to get real numbers in PvP. We need to find out that the station's defenses are working.
You know what, dude? Is it really that though? Can't they just make this event for? What if they just made this event for fun?
Oh well, it is fun.
Yeah, but like, what if that was the only intention? I feel like everything always had, like, everybody starts feeling that everything has to tie into, well, this is testing to make sure this is good, and this is like, what if they just made it so we would have some fun? Yeah,
good point.
Yeah,
maybe I'm a bit blocked there.
Maybe. Yeah. Because I think it's like a big part of our community is that we think that, all right, if they do any work on this game, it has to tie into what the finished product would end up being. No time can be wasted. Listen, this man and these people have wasted your time plenty on doing all sorts of different things, testing things out, your time, your money, all that stuff. There's been plenty of time wasted throughout the development of this game. This is one of the first times where they spent some time on something that was just for fun.
Yeah.
Like, time gets wasted all the time, right? They have to R&D things. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's not really time wasted, but sometimes it does. Things don't work out. But what if this was just getting the community involved with the game again? That's a very good thing.
Yep, and maybe they listen to you and Morph, who rightfully said that they need to put in stuff that gives you incentives to do in the game.
Sure, it was me, it was Morph, it was Saurus, it was a lot of people. But here's the thing: is going back to like the original post about this, Tyler said it was in March, so that they started thinking about this. So in no way will I take credit for any of these changes coming into this game. Maybe they saw our comments and knew that they were on the right track and that they were doing the right thing, and that our sentiments were there to prove that they were on the right track on things. But that's I won't take credit for anything.
Yeah, I just it was a bit of a curveball there.
Sure,
thinking about it. But the fear I have is, and maybe that you can, I don't know how you see it. I think we're entering a content drought. Maybe
100%.
a bit like the time between 2.6 and 3.0.
Absolutely. For content creators, for players, the reasons to jump in the game need to be at this stage of the game. They need to be more consistent, and they're not there yet. And since we don't have all these tech systems in place, I think that content drought is going to hit us pretty hard, and it's going to suck. But it is what it is. Like, there's nothing to complain about it. There's no arguments that they should have done this better. It is what it is, And it's shit, but
Yeah, it should. I'm pretty curious how CIG will manage this time. I mean, they did remember the efforts and the videos and the stuff they tried to do before 3.0, to sort of keep us informed and not dropping it. I'm interested how they deal with it this time.
Sure. Me too, man. But all right, let me let you go because we actually sneaking in another caller here at the end. So, Quams, have a great day. Thank you for your call.
You too.
I appreciate it.
See you.
Bye now. All right, we're gonna sneak in Chosen Link real quick at the end. It's kind of beautiful thing. I don't have to work on Sundays anymore, so we can go a little bit longer. But I am gonna be eating lunch soon, so we're gonna try and wrap it up fairly quickly. Chosen, welcome. How you doing? Glad we could sneak you in, man.
Good. What's up?
What's going on?
You hear me, right?
I hear you perfect.
I'm not in like a bathroom, right, with a cheap mic.
No, you sound great.
All right, cool. So I wanted to talk about actually the Squadron 42 video, the hour-long video. I know you didn't watch it on stream.
Yeah.
But there's actually some really valid points within that video with respect to Star Citizen.
Sure.
So I want to make 3 points here. So number one, we already knew this, but CIG, they have amazing artists and incredible talent. So based on that video, like, I mean, we know the types of landscapes that they could craft, like Area 18 and like New Laggage, because of lags. And the space station, I mean, it looks incredible. It looks amazing. The amount of detail they put into this is bar none. So having said that, point number two, CIG wasn't lying when they said Squadron 42 equals Star Citizen. Yeah. And this was very apparent based on the lack of gameplay that they showed during this demo and the amount of jankiness that was apparent during the gunplay. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we already see this. I mean, you've already talked about gunplay in the past. And yeah, it's there. So it's apparent that the same janky and sluggish gunplay in Star Citizen is in Squadron 42, like based on the preview footage. So that's sort of for me, since I'm sort of an FPS junkie. Okay, that's a big alarm. That's a big red flag for me. Yeah. So number three, I don't want to be a doomer, but based on this footage, it made me sort of incredibly pessimistic on both Squadron 42 and Star Citizen, just because they're both so tied together. I mean, the amount of stuff that they showed there was a bit alarming. And one of the good examples, and you might have to go back and watch the video, but the lead designer was sort of doing a fly through the station, and they were sort of going room to room, sort of the designer talking about the details and potential gameplay opportunities. And that's sort of the key word. If you sort of hyper analyze what they were talking about, which I might have done a bit too much, there were essentially,
don't we all?
It was essentially it was a 50-minute video of them showing their amazing art and theory crafting gameplay opportunities. And the keyword is theory crafting. So they spent about 5 minutes in this server room showing the amazing visuals and the opportunities, and then they were talking about the potential. So the lead designer, he was talking about potential gameplay opportunities. So he was specifically referencing how when you're in the server room, these servers could go up and down into the floor, and then how maybe a player could action this, or maybe the AI could potentially detect the player and then make the servers go down on their own. And then you might ask, like, how do I know that this gameplay, quote unquote gameplay, isn't in there? Well, the first point is they were referencing the panels within the server room, and you could tell that these panels were not like building blocks panels. They were this sort of generic art panels, so you could right away tell
that they never attempted it. Yeah,
exactly. So this was never even in there, and this goes on for several rooms within this Squadron 42 walkthrough. So they go into this other room, and they talk about. So they have all these little trinkets on the tables, and they're saying, "Oh yeah, maybe if potentially you could turn off the gravity generator, these trinkets will sort of like they'll start floating into the room, and there'll be like obstacles." And when like currently in Star Citizen, all of these sort of I guess accessories that are sort of like baked into the geometry. Like if you go into a Carrack and you have all these like plates and coffee machines and stuff, they're not physical objects. They're actually baked in to the ship. So they're hinting that these will be actual physical objects, and potentially in the future they'll be able to sort of be interactable. But they don't actually show this. So this is all theory crafting, and sort of the takeaway that I took from this is so. If you actually look into it, and I'm not sure if you've actually seen this hour-long video.
No.
You'll pick up on a lot of these terms now that I tell you. They'll say a lot of like kind of. So you'll be able to kind of do this.
Yeah.
Or players will be able to do this. AI will be able to do this, instead of saying players can do this or we have this already in there. So that was sort of the big like red flag for me. And that's sort of tying Squadron 42 with Star Citizen. That's like a big yikes, because I mean they said it in the past. Squadron 42 equals Star Citizen equals Squadron 42. They're intertwined.
Yeah.
Therefore, you would expect there to be gameplay in Squadron 42, yet there is no gameplay in Star Citizen in terms of like interactable mechanics, and that's sort of a big yikes for me. So that was my takeaway. So if anything, that video hurt. I mean, I guess if you have a bit of a pessimistic take on this, it hurt more than it helped. That's my take.
Yeah, I think a majority of people have a more pessimistic view on Star Citizen. They didn't solve that problem with this video, and that's probably what this video should be doing.
Right, and someone also said AI. I just saw Sniper said in chat. He mentioned AI. So they previewed AI, but it was sort of janky. Like they weren't really doing anything. They're just kind of standing there, and then the player character was shooting at them, and they just sort of reacted and tried to shoot back, but they really did nothing smart in terms of what they showed, like in SC, in terms of them like taking cover and doing all these actions. Like you would expect Squadron to be a lot more polished than it is now.
Yeah.
And that alone makes me believe that Squadron 42, Q3 2020 was not even it wasn't even in question. Like, I don't know how they come up with this. And sorry to sort of like laugh a bit, but I don't know how they even came up with this.
Boys.
Like
Pepe laugh.
Exactly. So when Chris says it's like nowhere in sight, that's kind of alarming to me, and I don't know how to process this, because a bit of a background. So I actually put in money into this late 2018, so I guess I'm relatively new to all this, and I've only put in money for Star Citizen. I could care less about Squadron 42. Well,
sure.
Squadron 42 is part of my package. Like I'll play it.
Yeah.
But I'm more interested in Star Citizen and the dream of the space sim MMO than Squadron 42. Like I could care less about Squadron currently, but now that I understand that Squadron is so intertwined with SC, when I follow the Squadron news, I'm kind of super concerned about the state of SC.
Yeah, absolutely, and rightfully so. But all right, yeah, I don't. When you go, I don't want to be a doomer.
Yeah, so I mean that's my hot take. Like nobody in here has talked about Squadron 42 except maybe Unmatched. But yeah, like I just felt that I should talk about Squadron and stuff, and yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, and it really that is such a true statement. The idea of Squadron and Star Citizen being intertwined, it's just so true. You know. So when you see AI acting weird or a lack of progress in SC, there's also a lack of progress on Star Citizen from the tech front.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's how you got to know. But all right, Chosen, I guess we'll let you go, and we'll end this on a doomer note.
Jeez. All right, I guess.
Way to let us on a downer, dude. No, it's all good, man.
Hey. Well, I mean, on a positive note, I really like the vent. The vent's pretty tight.
Vent's sick.
It's really cool. Yeah, it is. So I've been enjoying it. I haven't yet fallen into the trap of joining that one kill trading Discord. I might within a week or two.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I just don't. I
you
don't like
can
the
do
Gladius.
it.
The Gladius sucks. Whenever I play the Gladius, I keep on thinking like, why aren't I in my Hornet or my Arrow? That's all I think about.
All right.
Like the Gladius sucks. Like that's all I.
Yeah. It should have been single seaters. It should have been single seater ships. Yeah. That would have been better.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, it's a cool event.
Yeah,
I'll end it at that.
All right, Chosen. Have a great one. Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate it. I'm glad we snuck you in.
All right. Same. Have a good one.
Later, buddy. All right, boys and girls. That's going to be it for today. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. I hope you guys enjoy it. What a week we got. The ups and downs of this week. From 311 being an absolute kind of disappointment to this event coming out and having it be exciting to all this stuff they threw at us yesterday. It was a pretty cool week. And yeah, I'm really happy. I'm really happy with everything this week, and I'm glad we had an awesome show. And yeah, hit the like button if you're watching on YouTube. If you are watching on Twitch and you missed something, this will be on YouTube later. If you're watching on YouTube, stop by our Discord. Stop by the stream. Sundays, 10 a.m. Eastern time is when we tend to do the answer the calls. Sometimes we start them a little bit early. Today we did. Because we knew the show was going to be long, 2 hours and 20 minutes. So that'll do it. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye now.